So given the global state of affairs, this upheaval in a social, economic and political sense, on every scale really, from local, immediate to collective as a species, I wanted to make myself useful. Now, there is no point of me sharing more information with you, because there is already plenty of information out there. In fact, there is a sea of information that we are drowning in. We are confused and incoherently drowning in a sea of data coming from every angle, from our family, from our partner, from our friends, from YouTube, from various news outlets, from organizations, from the British Broadcasting Corporation. Everywhere. There's information being vomited at us from every angle. Likely we are guilty vomiting the information back as well. So I figured I'd make this video on how to overcome this confusion. And in order to address this severe confusion, which undoubtedly many people are experiencing in wake of this humongous information overload, we need to understand what confusion is and where confusion stems from, in really simple terms. So my question is, why are we confused? When you are confused, what is the source of your confusion? Just think about that for a few seconds. So at the bottom of this confusion is a disconnection from truth, from the real story. You know, what is the story? What is the truth? Help me, I am confused. I don't know what's going on. Truth is a funny business. Now, in these recent weeks, especially as the collective anxiety has been increasing, I often see people asking, well, who is telling the truth? Into the same group of people belong those who share their opinion, and after questioning their opinion, you find out that their opinions are rooted in some kind of upper authority. Sometimes that can even be the BBC. You know, I heard it, the BBC said it, so it must be true. In other levels, it could be the World Health Organization. It could be a famous individual. It could be a doctor. Some kind of credential, some kind of credibility or status is related to the source of their information. And in this case, that individual is actually not sharing their own authentic opinion, because they are leaning on the source, and they are surrendering their belief to that source, as opposed to formulating an opinion for themselves. They are choosing to believe the credibility of that source. So instead of asking who is telling us the truth, I'm sorry by the way, it's getting late, and I had to re-record this a few times because I'm not used to talking to the camera. Instead of looking at who is going to tell us the truth, we need to ask, how do we find it, and what is the truth? And the first step to that is actually taking a step back and realizing that there is no single truth. That truth is subjective. The truth is your truth. Something is true for someone else will not be true for you, because you are a being that was born under a unique constellation of stars at a certain point in time and space on this planet, and your life is unique and no one else will experience it like you. So the truth is going to be different than someone else's. Hence why you won't find the truth anywhere else but with yourself. What is the truth? Well, first of all, we have some very precious, very valuable faculties available at our disposal, namely our logical outlet as well as our intuition, right? Intuition, inner teaching, it's a funny one. You need to listen and feel. That's what intuition is. Intuition, you get a feel for things. Unfortunately, we're not really encouraged to use our intuition nowadays. I'm not going to go into the rigidity of the school system that denies the practice of our intuition. But anyway, you need to get a feel for things. You also need to use your logic in order to arrange, associate, and dissociate, to formulate your own story, what feels true to you. Arrange, organize, dissociate, take in, throw away, take in. Whatever feels right for you, that is what's going to leave you at peace. That is what is going to put an end to your confusion. And that takes work. Now, we tend to look for truth outside because we don't want to do the work and we don't want to take responsibility. In order to find our own truth, we need to take responsibility for that, and we need to think, and we need to formulate, we need to work out, and then we need to think again. And this also requires a very important step of admitting that we don't know shit. Because you're going to arrive at dead ends, and unless you are constantly reminding yourself that you will never fully know, you are closing the door, and in fact you're getting stuck in your own ideology, which is ultimately someone else's, because the information might have come from elsewhere. Anyway, it's getting really confusing. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But the main point is that only you can formulate your own truth. No one else is going to tell you what's true, because their truth is going to be different. You don't want to believe anyone because of their credibility, especially. You want to look at information yourself. You want to arrange it. You take what feels right. You take what makes sense. If you don't understand something, you can look into it. You can try to understand it. If you simply know that it's bullshit, then you can discard it. But if I'm speaking to someone and I'm listening to them, and 95% of what they are saying I know to be bullshit, but there's 5% in there that resonates with my truth, that 5% is already a worthy enough gift to harness from that interaction. And that 5% of the other person's content is already enough for me to feel an element of gratitude from that interaction with that person. And for that, I need to listen. And I need to admit that I may not know everything. And that is a scary thing to do. In fact, that requires you to get used to an element of confusion and not knowing. The confusion that we spoke about earlier. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. Help. It's fucking terrifying. And the reason that I wanted to make this video is because during this global upheaval, I see that many people have been forced to embrace this state of confusion and not knowing, and many don't know how to handle it. And I feel you, because I've been dealing with that state for a few years now. I was largely living in ignorance up until I was about 22. And it really does take time to get used to that state of not knowing, because ultimately we don't know. But with the power of embracing that you don't know, and that you're on a constant, never-ending journey, you actually gain power yourself, and you realize that no one else can tell you the truth but yourself. No one else can feel what's right for you. And right now, that is being taken away from every single person on the globe. I don't know if successfully or not, but at least it's being attempted. There are people out there and organizations out there that are trying to take away your truth by feeding you a bunch of fucking information. So, on a positive note, I would like to encourage you to be skeptical, to remind yourself that you don't know, and to remind yourself that no one else knows, leaving you with one solution. To look at information laid out on a table and to build your own understanding of it, and to do it some more, and to do it again, and to do it every day, and to think, and to form your own opinion, and to form your own conclusions, irrespective of what this doctor or that politician or that company says. Because that's not helping you, and it's not helping anyone around you. And it's just adding to this sea, this diarrhea of confusion that we are currently swimming front crawling. I guess that's all I've got to say. Look for your truth here, not out there. I'm sorry if I dragged this out too long. I didn't mean to make this video over 10 minutes, but I just had to talk about it. And I hope that this helps. I hope that you can find your own truth in this situation, because that's all you've got in the end, really. That's all you've got. No one else is going to tell you the truth. It's in here. Use that. Feel that. And you'll find some kind of peace. I guess to finish off, there is a really cool song that I like. It's one of my favourite artists. His name is Trevor Hall, and the song is called Karma. And there's a line in there which saved my life a few times. It says, "When your mind is spinning what to believe, root down strong like a banyan tree. Don't believe everything you think. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm sending you my love, and I hope that you're keeping calm throughout these crazy ass times, and that you're ready to adapt to some change, and that you're ready to speak your truth so that you can help other people find their truths. Bye.